Conformation seminar. Why is conformation important? Why is conformation important? Tell me that. I need your input. I need you to tell me. Why do you think conformation is important? Come on, be brave, eh?
Form follows function.
Form follows function. Perfect. Something the Kennel Club never knew and still don't. Form follows function. Perfect. That's exactly what it's about. I didn't even tell her that. So, this dog, the Jack Russell Terrier, you can see some samples up here, and then we're going to draw one. The main point I'm going to relate to you now about this dog is there's no vicars involved in this dog. No reverends are involved in this dog. And if you doubt that, read his memoirs, because he bought his first ideal, wonderful terrier from a milkman in Oxford. Where did that come from? Jesus? No, there were hundreds of them. It's just that he found that one. And later on, he became a very famous huntsman because he was a vicar, I suppose. But hunting's easy down on the Exmoor. And he had a terrier man just like the terrier men there today, with little dogs who went in, did the business. Okay? He had bigger terriers because down on Exmoor, what the Scottish call wind bushes, what we call gorse bushes, and there's big breaks of them, and it's hard for the hounds to move a fox out of there. So he had a few terriers that ran with the hounds, remember, so they were big, okay? They were tall, leggy terriers. You can see pictures of them, okay? They're not ancestors of your Jack Russells. They're ancestors of the Kennel Club Fox Terrier. That's what they are. So history is wrong, like it is in many, many ways. The reason they started calling the white-bodied hunt terrier the Jack Russell is because he was a very flamboyant, extrovert character. People from London went there to hunt with this famous man and brought back a present, a terrier puppy. And they said, well, what's that? He didn't say it's a white-bodied hunt terrier, because it wasn't. It was an early fox terrier. That's what it was. But they didn't know that at the time because he started the Fox Terrier Club. He started the Kennel Club, was a founder member of it, judged the first Fox Terrier class, because that was the first breed registered in 1860. And he said, I can't see a good dog amongst them. Well, of course he couldn't, because there wasn't any and there still ain't. Anyway, Parson Jack Russell gave his name because people had nothing to call these dogs. So they called them John Russell Terriers. And then it became Jack Russell Terriers. And then that became universal, that any tan and white mutt knocking around the stables became a Jack Russell. You know it. We sent you some. When people in this country bought horses from England, they saw this little mutt running around the stables, killing rats and things, and don't get me wrong, they did a good job. And they said, what's that? It's a Jack Russell. Oh, okay. Have you got any puppies? Yeah, we'll take some. And then you started breeding them yourselves over here. And then South Africa and Australia and everywhere. And then 1973, a group of people in England said, we've had enough of this. Because if you went to the closed shop, which were the hunt terrier shows, the terriers there were very, very different. So we decided, the Jack Russell Terrier Club of Great Britain formed, and we decided to lift the lid. And we lifted the lid on the secret world of the real Jack Russell Terrier. And we made it available to everybody. And by 1983, 82, you all heard about it in America. And you decided that you wanted this dog. It's much better than this little, what you got. And they heard about it in South Africa, but they already knew because they were running terriers with hounds in South Africa. But what it became was popular, right? Australia, just the same. We sent them these little shit things and then, excuse me. I've been told not to swear. Can you beep that? Beep. Anyway, there might be a bit more, I apologize. So anyway, then they started getting the real dogs. But they had to come back to England to get the real dogs. Of course they did. And the Jack Russell Terrier Club of Great Britain did a fantastic job in those days in making everyone aware of the real Jack Russell Terrier. So you got that club to thank for the terriers you revere today. Anyway, we're going to talk about what makes the Jack Russell. the terrier. Okay, up here you can see some terriers, right? And all but one have got like pretty obvious faults. We're not going to do that bit yet. We're going to do this. So we've done no Vickers, right? Conformation. All right. Have you got a magazine with a breed standard in it? Can you get it for me? I thought I got it. So we're going to go through the breed standard. I co-wrote the breed standard many years ago with a guy who eventually went to the kennel club. He was quite a knowledgeable guy, but had a horrible terrier. But he was quite a clever guy. And but he left us as soon as the Poss and Russell Club arrived. And away he went. Well, good riddance. Anyway, we wrote the breed standard. The breed standard describes this terrier in quite a good way, in a condensed form. But I'm going to go through it with you now. So why do we need, well, let's talk about this piece here. This is the first piece that should meet the quarry, okay? There are some Irish Terriers around who meet it right with this end. But if it meets it with this end, you don't want that. No. Don't breed from it. So here is the end that meets the quarry. So it's quite important. So what we need here, the first thing we talk about is the bite, right? What's the bite? Well, it's obvious, yeah? Everybody knows. The front teeth overlap the bottom teeth. The front teeth overlap the bottom teeth for a good reason, because it's an indication of how the rest of them mesh together. In Germany, if you show a terrier that doesn't have its premolars, you're out. They're very keen on that because they've suffered so much from kennel club terriers and kennel club dogs that don't have premolars. They don't have them. So if you send a dog to Germany that has no premolars, they won't register it. I don't blame them either, because anything from the perfect is bad. Right. So it's an indicator of what's going on. Huh? If we have this jaw too far forward underneath here, those old canines start flaring because they're clashing with the ones underneath, and all of that kind of thing. So we look for the guide, scissor bite. That's what we want. It says level or scissor bite. A level bite's just that far away from a correct bite. But you know what? They'll still throw it out. And maybe they should. I don't know. But here it is, scissor bite, mouth, strong teeth. The top slightly overlapping the lower. The left two bites are acceptable, the far left bite is preferred. Of course it is, the correct bite. So we need a good neck on this terrier. Why do we need a good neck on this terrier? I'll tell you why. Here's a nice neck. You see this long, graceful neck? That's a nice neck. All right? Here's a little bit of a short neck. Okay? It was a good terrier, but it's got a little bit of a short neck. This one had a bit of a short neck too. I know, because they're all my dogs. So, but why we need a long neck? Why do we need a long neck? Who can think why we need a good length of neck, a balanced neck? Anybody tell me? So they can spar with a quarry. Yeah, absolutely right. But another thing is, when this terrier comes into the working position, okay, puts its elbows back, okay, like this, puts its head forward, where are its feet? Behind the weaponry. Anybody had a dog bitten in the foot? Young dogs don't like it. Puts them off the job. They hate their feet being bitten. So, this works. This don't. So we need a good neck to be agile and spar with the quarry and push it and make it feel uncomfortable. Bolt it or hold it there till you dig it. Simple. Of good length, gradually widening of the shoulders. Well, if you don't widen at the shoulders, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Forequarters should be sloping and laid well back. Well, what's well laid back? Horse people should know this. What's well laid back shoulder? What is it? Tell me. We'll draw on a dog in a minute. What's the laid back shoulder? You'll read it. You'll swear to God you're going to breed a dog to this breed standard. You know, faithfully. What is it? Tell me, please, someone. What? It's the angle of the shoulder blade. Good, good, right? So let's draw on a dog. I'll show where it is. I got some dogs in reserve somewhere here. I'm gonna. No sex, right? On every dog we have some little spots, little places we can point to. If you look on a terrier from the front, you see this little twist here and here, right on the point of the shoulder. We're going to refer back to them. But here it is, look. There it is. There's a little spot there. And then we look at what they call the wither. Here it is, right up there. That's where we measure a dog, at the wither, yeah? Okay, so then we join the wither to the point of the shoulder, and we got an angle. Watch this. What we got there? Not much angle, is there? No. No. Something else. What does it affect? What else does it affect in the dog? It affects this angle. Because when we get to here, this angle is more open. Okay? So we don't fold as well. It's all mechanics. It's simple. We come down here, and it affects the pastern because it's all straightening up. Okay? Look at this one. It's all straight. It's too straight. Look at this one. What's wrong with that one? Might be a bit too angulated, eh? You might be just a touch angulated. But the real dogs that are angulated too much show their brisket here. You don't want that. All right? That's not a bad terrier. There's another fault on that one I'm going to show you later. Here is the perfect angulation. There she is. Shoot. There's the perfect angulation. That's what we're aiming for. The perfect shoulder, the perfect humerus, down in the foreleg, into the pastern. Right? There's a perfect demonstration. There it is. If you can't see that, I can't help you. All right. So we know why the dog has to have good angulation in the front. Right. Let's move along now. We're going to leave the back end, but we're coming to put them both together. So, what else is it saying here? The chest should be shallow, narrow, and the front legs not too widely apart, giving athletic rather than heavily built appearance. As a guide only, the chest should be small enough to be spanned behind the shoulders by average-sized hands. Why do we span it behind the shoulders? People have said to me over the years, behind the shoulders ain't the biggest place on the dog. I say, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. Can I borrow this one for a minute? I'll borrow that one in a minute. All right, so we pick up the dog and we span the dog here, okay? Some people put the thumbs together and look underneath like that, and the dog bites them in the lip. It's much easier to do that and quicker. So you ain't like twisting the dog around like he's like some kind of idiot. Let me show that up here. So, right behind the shoulder there, tuck in. Why do we span it there if it's not the biggest place? Huh? Who's saying that? You? Who's saying it? Oh, sorry.
It determines what they can do.
I dropped my elevation a bit. Sorry, go on.
It determines what they can do with their shoulders to get through a space.
When they're working. Because it's going to be the biggest place when they're up in the working position, which is there. And if they have no angulation in the shoulder, they won't get there. They won't be able to do this to make themselves smaller. Put one leg back, one leg forward. This is a good puppy for this. Right? Makes yourself real small. Turn on his side, wriggle through. Get it? Fox Terrier can't do that. He's a big-chested guy, let me tell you. So is a Parson Russell. How'd you like to go digging with a 19-inch terrier? Anyway, so you can also get a big dog on little legs. That's not good either. It ain't going to fold up. Still going to be a big dog. Right, where are we now? Missed my slot. Where are we, prompter? I'm not paying you. Yeah, we're going to do the body. Yeah, okay, we're going to do the back. Can I borrow this one? Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to move this out a little bit. Start mouthing off from behind the table. Oh, you got anything I can throw on this table? Give him my coat. Give him that T-shirt. Think he wants to look at you? I don't usually do it this way around. Would you like to stand over there? I'm only a one-handed guy. It's a really new experience for this dog, it always is. Huh? But he's going to settle. He's a nice dog, good temperament. Picked him out earlier. All right, so here we got the nice neck. We got this folding up into the working position. See how far that jaw is in front of the feet? Wonderful, isn't it? Eh? Isn't nature wonderful? So we span the dog there so we know where he is. So then we come back into the... Let's talk about this bit first. Let's talk about a little bit here. Anna, could you just hold that T-shirt for me? Thank you. He'll settle in a minute. Good boy. Okay. See this rib cage? Nice and shallow. Nice and shallow. Don't worry about heart room. This is not Roger Bannister running the 4-minute mile. This dog needs to get in the ground and stay there in comfort. We don't want these herring-gutted terriers with a deep chest and shooting up like so many modern English foxhounds these days, bred by amateurs. They have what we call herring guts. You don't need this. You want this pretty level underneath. So then we come to the back. Okay, this terrier's back. You can put your hand underneath there if you want. Okay? This terrier's back here. We come along the back and into this area. Very important. This area, we get a lot of power from this area. When this dog is drawing the quarry, all the power comes from here. When it's twisting in, we need this well built. Now, what we don't need is a roach back. Any rise in the loin on this dog needs to come from muscle, not from its spine. A real roach back dog has a bent spine, but it also has something else. The angulation of the pelvis. All right, very important. This angle of the pelvis. I'm going to show you on the board in a minute. This dog has 2 little twists of hair at the back. Guess where they are? Right on the point of the pelvis. So God knew about conformation, right? Here they are, right here. Here's the upper point of the pelvis, dead easy to find. Just run your finger there it is. Here's the other one. Look at that angle there, okay? I want you also to pay mind to this angle here. Running down here to the point of angulation. You'll feel another little point there. There's another little point here, and then obviously down the hock. So we've got a point there, a point there, a point there, and a point there. They're very important that they're angled properly because this dog needs to fold up in the ground. He needs to push backwards. He needs to push forwards. He needs to extend his leg a long way to wriggle through a short and narrow place. But he needs power from the back end. It all comes from how this back is built and how the pelvis lies on it. You can give him a rest now. Give him to his mama. Okay, so it's really complicated, isn't it? Yeah, this one can sit here. That's nice. I like it anyway. So anyway, don't mind me, I fool around. So where's my black pen gone? Thank you. So we got some more lines here. All right, where are we going to show them first? We'll show you some lines on this dog. This is a really nice dog. I loved him. Anyway, so we got this line here, his spine, okay? And we've got a point here, which is his pelvis. And where that joins is really important. And his tuck is there, okay? Then we've got another point there to his knee, his stifle. And then we've got another point there, and then down his leg. All right? There's something wrong with this. Let's look at this one. Point, point, point. What's wrong with it? Yeah, these angles are too shallow, like this. Too shallow. Okay, let's move on to another one. Point, point, point. What's wrong with that one? Come on, I'm giving you a clue. It's over-angled. Of course it is. It's over-angled. Which is best? Oh, every time, over-angulation beats this. All right? But we've got a terrier here who is too open in his angles there, too open in his angles there, but rub the lines out. To some people, that's a really nice looking dog, right? Yes, it is. But it ain't. This is where two wrongs make a right. In a lot of people's eyes. Two wrongs make a right. How about the dog who is straight up front and angulated behind? What happens then? What? They can't move. They can't move correctly, and what happens is, down comes the top line to make up this angulation here with a straight forend there. Get it? But then sometimes, you may not have seen this, you get that back end with an angulated front end, and you always know when you got one because the brisket sticks out front here like this, so they're like that. But they are. But you can spot them as something wrong with that dog. Well, that's what's wrong with it. Okay? But what a nice dog. Terriers like this win shows every week in England. They do. The pelvis is too shallow. The angle is too shallow. 20 degrees, too shallow. That's basically the angle of a Lakeland. What we're looking for is this. All right? What can you see? I mean, I've not drawn it precisely. 1, 2 angles, the same. It's all mechanics. You know what? I walked into stables where people have got beautiful, beautiful horses, and they got a dog running around like this. And I said, what the hell is wrong with this dog? I said, oh, he's nice. I love him. I said, but you ride these horses. You would never ride a horse that looked like that. And they say, why? I said, because his conformation is wrong. But you have an eye for conformation, but you breed them. What is wrong with you? And they say, oh, yeah. I said, what do you mean? What should they be like? So I don't tell them, I show them. And they say, oh, yeah. And they carry on breeding me. They don't care. So we know all about angulation now, eh? We're going to do it again in a minute, because I keep doing it. All over the place. First of all, we've got to look at something else. Let's have a little look at this. The terrier from the front. Okay? Now we remember these little points here. See them? All right. I don't know whether he's going to stand okay or not. He might do. But these little points here have to repeat themselves here and here and here and here. Okay? Because whether you like it or not, that width there is the denominator of this dog's front. Okay? And that's exactly how it should move. In line. Now everything being equal, and we're not flared in the ribs behind here to push that elbow out, that should be right. But if we've got a dog with the wrong front, maybe the chest is a different shape, a wrong shape. We'll have a look at chest in a minute. But this is the denominator, and that's how the dog should move. Remember, we'll come back to it. If the dog is built correctly, the same denominator will be repeated behind by these little twists on the pelvis. There they are. That should go right down through the stifle, through the hock, and into the foot. So that should be the dog's track. So the dog should track evenly together, putting this foot directly behind that foot, and we'll do movement too when it moves. So that's what's coming up. Very important. Let me put this one down a minute. Thank you. All right. Let's just look at what we looked at then. We just looked at this. This dog looks like he has a great front. Remember, he's a stud dog, fairly big dog, 14 and a half. He's all man, nice big head. We forgot to talk about the head. Why does the head have to be the way it is? Why does the head have to be strong, muscular? Because in a stud dog, you expect this dog probably to get up close with its quarry. Now, whether to bay or not is a whole new question, and we're talking about that too. So he has to have a good head, a good block of a head, right? Small ears held close to the sides because we like them that way. There's no subterranean animal with cocked ears, with dropped ears. They're all cocked ears. Badger, fox, everything's got its ears stuck up. Anybody who tells you he's got to have his ears down like that, stop the dirt going in, is a nutcase. Because the dog puts its head back, its ears back when it's working. So we like them that way. So anyway, nice, strong, small, almond-shaped eyes. Why?
Keep the dirt out.
Well, how?
Well, because it doesn't have round eyes have like more brevity.
No, they're prominent.
They stick out.
They're round because they're prominent. And no matter if the dog can close its eyelid, it will get damaged because it has no skull coverage. And if it's a Chihuahua, they've got trouble with them popping out now. So that's cool. So you can take your eye out, have a look around the corner, see what's there. But it's important that this dog looks after its eyes with good skull coverage. That's why we need that good head in there, right? We need a good head, and we need terriers that pass on that good head. Dark, almond-shaped eyes, yellow eyes, sign of a pigment problem coming up now. Yellow-eyed terriers, I would watch out there. You're going to get that light tan called lemon. I'd watch out for that. So, dark, almond-shaped eyes, nice and tight in the head with good skull coverage so that the blows from above, from the quarry, don't damage the eye. Okay. Good, solid cheek muscles, because that's what the jaw depends on, and one day his life might depend on that. It ain't just to eat his bony old dog biscuits, it's like very important. So, what did I diversify off then? What did I move off then? Oh yeah, fronts, okay. So, pigment. Why do we like good pigment? Why don't we like butterfly noses and stuff like that? Because soon we'll be losing our pigment, we'll be getting light eyes, we'll be getting that blue in our black and white terriers, we'll be getting that lemon in our tan and white terriers. Melanin, you need to keep it in your dog. You need to keep that gland working. And if you weaken it by breeding to yellow-eyed dogs and dogs with not definition in their coat, in their markings, you're going to breed it, and then you're going to be sorry. So, the front, here it is. Okay. There it is. 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 There's the denominator. It works. Look, it's mechanics, geometry. It works. Look at your dog that way. And when it moves, it should always keep that line. None of this, none of that, none of this, none of that. Sometimes this is due to something else. When we're spanning a dog, we're also looking at the shape of the chest. All right? We're going to look at some chest shapes here and how they affect your dog. The good old round chest. All right, it's very spannable, but it's not good. I don't care how small it is, not good. Then we can have the totally oval chest. Not bad. This one, the shoulder blade laid well back as you like. It will still poke out here, Here comes the forelegs. We got a bandy leg dog. Simple. Because nature will pull this leg in, then pull that foot out in order to keep the center of gravity under the dog. And that's where you get your bandy leg dogs from. That's simple. Here we get another type. We get this shoulder coming down here. All right? And they look like the legs are coming out the same socket. And they've usually got a compensation by a very deep chest too. You've seen them all yourself. You know what I'm talking about. But they also got a wide gap at the top. The ideal chest is this. An egg shape. Like that. That's the ideal chest. Why? I'll tell you why. Because here the shoulders are attached to the dog. Okay? Here comes the foreleg, the elbow down to the foreleg. Okay? They're a bit out of perspective, but there you go. But this, point to the shoulder. There they are. It worked again. So this is the best shaped chest because you've got room here for these shoulders to slope down and come down like this. Check out your dogs. Check out the good looking dogs. What size, what shaped chest have they? Anybody thought of that? Small chest, yeah. What shape is it? It makes a difference. It makes a difference to this.
So I got a question.
Yeah, good.
The narrow one in the middle,
Yeah, this one?
yeah, with the way that it brings the shoulders, does that makes the legs then splay out?
Sometimes it does. Sometimes it does. But I'll tell you what happens is that when you look through the dog into the back legs, the stifle will be out here and the back legs will track up like that. Maybe up to an inch side of it. So you can see it. When you see people gazing at terriers when they're moving, that's what they should be looking at. Not past the dog. Oh, there's a bird over there. Like a dog staring, that's no good. Pretending you know what you're looking at. Because any competitor who's got a brain knows exactly this guy doesn't know what he's looking at because he just put the wrong dog up. You know when they're splitting dogs, they say, okay, move these together. I want to watch these. And then they come back and say, you go there, you go there. What? What's he looking at? I don't know. Next time, ask them. Say, what are you looking at, mister? I'm interested. You're a fraud. Tell them. Tell them, what do you think? Don't take it. Don't take it from them. They're frauding you. All right. Feet. You need them on the end of these legs. See, this terrier has nice, compact feet. But they're not small. You don't want these inky, pinky feet like this. You want them big, broad feet like this, so that every pad sits on the ground like this. Here's what to do. Go home, get a roll of wallpaper upside down, roll it out on your pavement. All right? Get an ink pad, put it on your dog's feet. Walk it up that wallpaper and then have a look. Can you see every pad? If you can see every pad and a touch of the pad in the middle, then the dog has good feet. Right? Now, if they're extended, you have the pad in the middle like that, and then you're extended like this, out here, the dog's splayed foot. It needs to be here. Nice and compact. Forget this. Get them tight. Get them tight like this. Not like a cat, but like this. Don't get them long like a hare. Don't get them wide. It's not a panther. Get them tight feet, but make sure every pad hits the floor. Correct feet look big in the USA, but they're not. There's so many namby-pambis running around on two pads in this country, it's unreal. It used to be very bad. It's a lot better now. So look out for them feet. If you got a dog with correct feet, and somebody says you got a dog with big feet, you tell them, Come here, I've got a roll of wallpaper in my truck. Let's test them. They'll soon change their tune, I promise you. Look out for that. That's a good little trick. So, what else? What do you want to talk about now? Come on. Alignment. Yeah, let's do alignment. Good, thank you. All right. Alignment depends on a lot of things. See this upright shoulder in this dog, right? What can happen with this upright shoulder is, and we got the same behind, that sometimes this upright shoulder, okay, doesn't flex properly. It has a short humerus. That's why what goes with an upright shoulder, to keep the back level. If it didn't, it would probably be like this if it has a straight spine, right? So it has a short humerus, makes the dog level, right? Compensates. But when you move a dog with a short humerus, can you imagine, what do you do when you get a horse with a short humerus, an upright leg? What does it do? Hangs its leg in the air. Okay? It's waiting. It's waiting for the back leg to move up here before it comes down. Because this terrier with the front leg that's effectively too short will put it down too short. This leg will crack into it. So it hangs its leg in the air. Looks very pretty. Fox Terriers do it all the time because they're built wrong. I promise. Watch them. They say, what a pretty mover. No, it's not. It should glide. Like a perfect thoroughbred, it should glide. Just the same. Conformation is all. If you see a foxhound punching along like this, you just think, what on earth is that? That can't gallop, that can't run. It's not built correctly, you see. So we need it to flow beautifully from behind and from the side. That's why your judges are supposed to look at the action from the side. It'll tell them everything. Okay? If you had a ring of terriers here, I could judge the conformation of those terriers by just seeing them walk round. I promise. I could pick every fault. And so could you. Just by seeing them walk round. It's so important. All right, we've got to look at action that way, we've got to look at action that way, but I bet you 99.9% of the time you'd be right watching that action. Because it'll tell you everything, I promise. All right, we've done 2 wrongs make a right. Not really. Overangulation, let's look at that. That's a big thing, excuse me. Big thing in this club in a minute, overangulation. We have a terrier here. Very, very good bitch, actually. But she's too long in that second thigh, right? Go and look at true grit. Here they come.
Yes. Yes.
You know what's wrong with the Alsatian? Too long in the second thigh. It's simple. It's too much weight here. It destroys the breed. But because with the Alsatian, form does not follow function, right, anymore, it's just show, they can do what they want. You know what, the Kennel Club, because form doesn't follow function, have bred dogs that can't reproduce on their own. You know that. Their eyes pop out in some breeds. They can't reproduce without physical intervention to mate them, and then always a cesarean birth. So if we left it to them, they wouldn't survive. Are we going to go down that road? Of course not. That's why we're here talking about it, because we don't want to. So we're going to do it right. Yeah? Now I'm talking a long way in the future if it all went wrong, because these dogs will probably beat you to it, because they'll get out and breed their own way with good dogs, and you wouldn't be able to screw them up. But the Kennel Club can, because they're cosseted and pampered dogs. Yeah, what?
About coats?
Oh, coats, yeah, we can do coats. Best thing for a coat is on the dog. Anyway, a good smooth coat and a good broken coat are so alike, it's a hard job to tell them.
Good.
That's the truth. So, but a lot of dogs suffer from a problem, and the problem is a wispy coat. A wispy coat. All right? You see these wisps down here? You got to be careful where you put that bitch too. Because if you put that to another terrier with a coat like that, you're going to get a load of fluff balls. You are. What can you do about it? Clip it, pull it, dress. Oh, I've heard it. It's a rolling coat. Yeah, one's rolling right down the dustbin, man, I'll tell you now. So we always have a problem with the coats. Yes, we do. We all do. But you got to head for that tough, harsh coat, right? And all the grooming in the world won't make it right. You got to breed it right. It's a very, very important factor, and thank you for bringing it up. Because when you're choosing your stud dog, you must have in the back of your mind, what kind of coats are going to come to this? What kind of coats are going to come to that? And if you come up with a formula that's going to give you a fantastic coat every time, please let me know, will you? Because it's so hard. It's so hard, but you got to aim for it. It's obvious. A fool would not know. A fool would know what not to do, surely. But it happens, don't it? There's some good coats in America. Probably better coats than we got in Britain, but there are some good coats. But there's some bad ones too. Always. What else you want to talk about?
I want the tail set.
Oh, good. That's good. I like that. Yes. Well, the tail. Jack Russell Terriers have a tendency to curve that, to curve the tail a little. Some of them have got a tendency like him, where the tail starts halfway up his back and still goes over. There's a lot of terriers, the tail starts halfway up the back but comes out like that. Looks very pretty, but it's still too high, right? This is probably an ideal place for the tail to come out. This one's great. This one's, I love it. Nice tail set. But it's hard. It goes along with a lot more things, and you have to balance it. Balance it in your mind. We don't want to see red hot pokers coming out there. Like, dang. It's not natural, you know. The Kennel Club have perfected it, but at the price of everything else. These terriers do have a slight curl in their tail. They really do. And it drives me nuts, but it does. I promise you. You're right. This is probably, I don't know what this is. This is probably the best we can hope for right here, look. There it is. That's about the best we can hope for. We could maybe do with a half an inch on the end of that, but that's about what you want.
So the one with the, in the middle with the tail that's curved up over.
This dog shiny, yeah?
Is that a gate tail?
Yeah, that, I would consider that a gait tail, but that's
It is a little bit.
due to their gait. Does it affect their gait?
No, not at all, Mom. No. No. I didn't affect any badger or fox I used him on either. It's there to please us. Doesn't affect him underground. You could cut that off, it'd still dig as many.
Well, I just know that in horses, the set of tail affects their,
Quite possibly, but that moves along to the pelvis.
yeah.
And in a horse it's very important, but in these, the effect is very much dulled down, if you understand what I mean. Because of the length of the second thigh, the length, the effect of the angulation of the pelvis. I mean, in a Lakeland, the angulation of a pelvis is anything from 20 to 25. These are anything from 25 to 30 degrees, which brings us down and angulates, it angulates this area, right? Gives us angulation here, okay? If you're looking for the correct length, right, of angulation, and I want you to, when you get home, get out that True Grit and do this. Get something straight. All right? We'll use this. You can use a little ruler or rip a page out of the magazine and put it up there. And do this. See that hook? Get up the back of that hook and make a line up the back of the hook and see how far that is from the point of the pelvis. If it's anything past an inch, look for this long second thigh and the overangulation. Yeah, you all got it? Y'all seen it?
Yes, sir.
Cut it out. Cut it out. I'd sooner have them like this than that. Because that is not good. It affects the gait totally. The pace is wrong. You will never see them pace up properly. Carry on, sir. Oh, it's the Blues Brothers, right.
I just wanted to ask you, when you were talking about that extension over there, when you put the tape on, how long is that supposed to do? What is the average number?
Width there, 1 inch.
Yeah, but you don't
25 centimeters, 25 millimeters. 1 inch. That's all. There it is. If it's this, come on, you'll see it before then, I'm sure.
find the length of loin affects
The length of loin? No, not really.
affecting the
Not really, no. Long back dogs are pretty obvious, but it does affect the gait. They tend to be like little sway in the gait, but that's minute. You're getting down to the nitty gritty there.
I have one more question.
Yeah, please.
Okay. How long does the average Jack Russell live?
How long do they live? Holy shit. Well, I've known them live 18 years old. There was a dog in London, lived to the age of 22 years old.
Well, average Jack Russell is 17 right now.
17, happy birthday, eh?
No, I'm just saying, not today is your birthday.
No, that's good. I had a Border Terrier lived to 18. I mean, how old was this bitch when she died? She must have been 17. Yeah, this bitch was 17 when she died.
What?
This bitch here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good hunting life too.
Yeah, I know.
Some of them will die at 14. I don't know why.
I know. I'm just saying, I'm just asking just to shoot it down to a tree. That's all.
These dogs will do anything you want them to.
Live longer.
They have good hybrid vigor, and let's keep it that way, shall we? Attitude. They are what they are, honey. You got to have a bit of attitude, otherwise they're no good, eh? You got to have that. You can't have them like meek and mild. These dogs are meant to get in the ground and do some work. The work they do, we're going to talk about that a little bit now. God, he goes on, doesn't he? Where's my notes, honey?
I think that's your notes there.
Have you been scribbling on this? Okay, to bay or not to bay? This is the question. Some people think that this dog, because it's convenient for him to do that, goes in the ground and its job is to bay at a fox. In fact, in a certain code of conduct that unfortunately is repeatedly published in our magazine, never about anybody else's, there's a section there that says that this dog or a dog that's entered to quarry underground should be of the softer type and bay at the quarry. Totally wrong. You, by the time you've entered this dog, you know what kind of a dog it is. So when you put it in, you get the result you know you're going to get. If you put in a hard dog in a shallow place, you're nuts. If you put in too hard a dog in a deep place, you're equally nuts. You have to balance your workbox, depending on the quarry. Is it going to stick? Do you want to dig it? Are you in a safe place? Is it good ground? You don't want a hard dog in a soft place 6 feet down that's going to cave in. That's for sure. But they'll do what you teach them to do, mostly. But you just harness what their tendency is. Let's look at, we take advantage of the fact the dog bays, right? Why does a dog bay? Why would a dog bay at the quarry instead of getting a hold of it and beating it up, right? Huh?
Said it's facing the teeth then.
Because it's facing the teeth. So, what controls baying? Why did this dog only bay before it got to the quarry and stop baying when it got to the quarry? Because it couldn't bay, because his mouth was full, and stayed that way till you broke through, or he got so tired or the quarry died, right? This bitch And this bitch bayed all the time. Why? Why didn't get a hold of it like that? Tell me why. There's one thing, like they're a little bit smaller, so they don't bust the quarry quite so much. But there's another thing. Why does a dog bay at anything? When you go in a pasture with your dog and it bays at a cow, why does it bay at it? Huh?
Trying to intimidate the quarry, or
Trying to intimidate it, but why didn't it run up and get a hold of it? If you let it off, it wouldn't. It'd run around it baying at it, wouldn't it? Because it's scared of it. Fear. We harness fear. Okay? We harness fear. Now we can get the best baying terrier at a fox in the world. So this dog is certified 100% bayer. Right. At its work. Now, if we took a rat and put it in that corner, and we put the 100% bayer down on the floor, it would probably go over there and kill the rat. Wouldn't even bay, would it? Because it's not scared of it. Now, I'm not saying this is a demeaning factor. What I'm saying is this: we must harness this. Now, if we want some baying terriers, we breed from bayers. But if you breed a bayer to a bayer, we double the fear. If we breed again to a bayer, we treble the fear. You can call it respect. Respect for the quarry. Okay, let's call it that. So 4 times we bred bayer to bayer until we got so much respect, we're not even going in the hole. How stupid is that? So what do? We use our stud dog. We use our stud dog to keep the gameness there. Never decry the game dog, because he's there to put that willingness to work and that fire in your terriers. And if you ain't got one, go and use one, because there's plenty about. Good hard dogs who would never dream of anything in their life. Go whoop, whoop, boom. You know them. We use them for draw dogs, everything, you know. So let's use them. Let's not decry them. Oh, too hard, too hard. Rubbish. Rubbish. Now, in the old days, before the bleeper collar, which made everybody an expert terrier man in England, much to my disgust, in the old days we used our ears. So we had to have a terrier that bayed. Okay? But that wasn't always the case. Because if we went to a big, shallow badger set, and in a big, shallow badger set, there are lots of holes, because they keep breaking out, everything. So they're usually massive. Lots of holes, 20 holes. And we want to dig a badger that day. Right? What do? What do we put in? That's not very deep. We'll bang a hard dog in there and bottle them up as fast as we can. And if we fail it, we dig a trench through the lot and start again. And then we put another one in the other end and see if we can bottle some up. I promise, it's brutal. Or it was. But if it's a deep place in the clay, like a 3-hole place, we need to know where the dog is. So then we won't put the hard dog in unless we just want to dig to the bumps. So we put a bayer in there and we dig down gradually, dig down gradually, dig down gradually, and that good little baying dog is still there, and the badger's 2 foot away. Bang, 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 bang. Got it. It's all over. Job done. Pull the dog back. Here comes Billy. Smack, bang, whatever you want. It's dead. So that's how it works. But the bleeper came along, and anybody with a hard dog was a terrier man. Because all you got to do is put a collar on it, slip that hard dog in, wacko slammo, mark the place, dig down, you got the quarry. There's no science, no skill. It's rubbish. Till the collar breaks down. And then we're in the muck. And then we phone me up and says, hey, can you bring one of them little baying terriers? I can't find my dog. I've done it so many times, it's unreal. David finds Goliath. And she always does. I had a border dog who would find any trapped dog anywhere. The biggest trapped rescue Fallon Moreland ever did was 27 feet. with a big machine, right? We found where those 2 terriers were by using my old dog Bear and my bitch. My bitch that came here to America. But they were brilliant at finding a terrier. And we were 27 feet down then. All hand dug. All hand dug in 2 days. By half a dozen of us. I promise you. Look in Broadhurst's book, you'll see it. Anyway, they were pinpointed by those 2 terriers. And me and another guy, we tunneled in as much as we dare, but the land was slipping. We had 2 cave-ins, and we took this piece of pipe in with us so we could breathe while they were digging us out. It was really scary. But anyway, the next day they got this big drag line in, pulled the hillside out, and found them 2 dogs and a fox dead. It's a shame because they were real good dogs. They belonged to Mick Ogden, one of my best pals ever, and spent a lot of time digging with me, and he died last week. Poor old Mick died. Yes, he did. Died on his own in his house. Broke my heart. So anyway, but that's how it was. Digging was that's how it is still. Digging. You know, I like a terrier that'll bay. I really do. It's very useful. I also had a couple of 3 terriers that I could call out. When Dick Chapman came to hunt our house, I can finish up now. Just tell you about another trick I learned. Dogs you can call out. Now, big brash terrier man saying, yeah, the dog should never leave the quarry. But how about if the dog is clever and well tuned into you and knows the game? Now, what you do is you harness an accident. When the dog is young, it might come out. They often do. Short place might come out. Am I doing okay, Dad? You know, getting there, you guys. So, might come out. So you.
Building, could you keep your voices down in the back a little here so they can hear the seminar? Thank you.
Maybe we should quit. We've been talking too long.
No, you're fine.
Do you want me to quit? No. Or go beat them up then. Anyway, I learned this little trick, and they have to be dogs that are very sensitive to you, very into your brain, and you are very into theirs. And I had 3 that I could do it with, and they were all the same way bred. I could call them out. Very often but they only did a specific job. They dig a fox all day. I proved it to 3 Dutch guys. I used one of those bitches. We dug 12 foot. Took us 3 hours to get down. We dug 12 foot to this bitch. She never left the quarry. If I'd have called her, she'd have come and had a look. Yes, Dad, you know, but if you keep your mouth shut, you can dig with her all day. So she ain't a quitter, you know what I mean? So you don't need a quitter. You want something that's going to thump this fox up. And what he's going to thump it up to is Billy Brock. Now, in a badger set, the badger ain't in the depths of the earth. Very rare. He's just around the corner. That's where he is. Here we're hunting out of the draw. It isn't stopped. We put a fox to ground in a badger set. Now he's going to run down that hole. What's the first thing he's going to meet? Billy Brock round the corner. You don't like him. The badger backs up. Fox moves in because the hounds are marking it. We get the hounds off quick. Here comes Greg, got the terrier on his horse. Pop the little dog in there, sits back. Goes a bit deeper. Goes a bit deeper. Then the fox started to make a stand. I know because he backed up to the billy. Okay, so I'll leave him there a few minutes. And I call him, Digger, 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 Digger. You know, Digger was one of the dogs I used to use, a good dog. Digger, 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 Digger. Digger, 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 Digger. Digger, 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 Digger. Digger, Digger, Digger. Digger, Digger, Digger. All right, out comes Digger. I grab him, sit back. Poof! He can't wait to get out of there. Here we go again. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a wonderful time galloping across the country. So do I, actually. But, yeah, dog in the back, up on the horse, and away we go again. I've done it so many times. I was so well known for it. It was unreal. These 3 terriers were so fantastic at it. Axman was a good boy till he got a bit hard. He got a bit hard to the dog. I sent him over here to Elizabeth McCarthy, and he had a great time having sex with bitches and digging groundhogs. So there is a future, you see, for us old boys. Anyway, that was another little trick I used, but you harness what you got. You don't ask the dog to do every job, although they'll do every job to a degree. You use what you got. You got to have a toolbox in your truck. But never decry the game dog, because he'll save your life. He's got to have some fire. Now, it might be limited in his use, but his job is to keep the gameness in your terrier. Now, if we don't want to talk about blood sports and anything else, well, quite frankly, go get a poodle. Because this dog ain't that dog. This dog wants to kill something. Yes, he does. Hopefully not you. Let's look at this dog, the most versatile animal on God's planet. This dog is fantastic. He will turn his mind and ability to anything you want him to do. Or her. For the burn the bra, Kate. So, this dog is wonderful. God gave him to us. Let's take care of him and pass him on to those that come behind us. Okay, thank you.